Welcome to my idiot guide to scratch golf. As a former full-time professional golfer turned YouTuber turned full-time dad, I don't practice a lot, but I'm still able to keep it right around par. So let's dive into this round of golf. I'm not taking on any undue risks early on or often at all. This is a very wide open first hole, so let's just get something in play. That's my objective. Looking at 110 yards here, I'm my old brain thinking I can really get aggressive here, but obviously I'm a little rusty. I'm out of practice, so a little uphill lie into the wind, and this thing just soars on me straight up into the air. Comes up about 10, 12 yards short, much to my surprise. Pretty straightforward pitch shot here, thankfully, because I haven't practiced my short game in a month or two, so if I have to get cute with it, it's going to require some luck, but if it's straightforward, pitch and run, lots of green to work with, I can get out of there pretty easily. This second hole, I don't like this hole. It's into the wind always. I used to be able to maybe get over that bunker on the right. Now the bunker on the right loves to catch my ball, so it's just keep this thing in play, nothing crazy. Keep it short of the bunker now because of that wind, so this was a good drive. Now I've got 146 yards into the wind, just trying to flight an 8-iron here. Thankfully, I practice in my garage a fair bit, so I'm hitting a lot of irons, so I'm not feeling insecure about this shot. I'm feeling confident that I can execute, and I hit a pretty good shot, but I wasn't getting aggressive. I wasn't taking on undue risk. I think that's what you're gonna see in this video. Avoiding risk is a great way to keep your score right around par. Hit greens, give yourself chances. This one here, 20-ish feet, 18, 20 feet is uphill. It's a very makeable putt. I'm not trying to make it by any stretch, but I can get aggressive. I can give it a good roll, and there you go. Make a birdie. Give yourself putts. Some of them fall in, so that's kind of all I'm thinking about here. Going to this third hole, 182 yards. I'm talking to Chase, kind of my thought process. It's a back left pin, pin high right, dead. Long left, dead. Short left, difficult up and down. There's a lot of room in the middle front right of the green, so I'm just knocking down a 6-iron because there's a lot of wind into off the left. Once it gets past these trees, is what I'm telling Chase, is it's just gonna kill it. So I'm just thinking middle of the green, front third of the green, nothing crazy, just want to hit this green, give myself a putt. Yeah, an outside chance from 30 feet's great, but I just want to hit the green. So I'm just taking a 6-iron, nothing crazy, just smooth, little flighted 6-iron. It does ride up a bit in the wind, but I took enough club to definitely get to the middle of the green, but not go long, and I find myself kind of dead in the middle of the green, 30-ish feet, 26 feet. Uphill, I can be aggressive here. I like the speed of my greens here, and I got a little bit too aggressive to catch the hole. Almost snuck in there with another birdie, but that's a simple 2. And you're seeing through 3 holes, it's just keep the ball in front of you, keep it in play, hit greens, give yourself chances, and that's kind of how you play a little sloppy to stress-free scratch golf, if you will. This fourth hole, it's a gettable par 4. You want to take something over these bunkers on the left, and yeah, we're into the wind, but I can still cover them. But my miss out of practice here is just a wipey drive, and that's exactly what I do. Thankfully, it basically ends up where a layup would be, but 106 yards into this green isn't ideal. A good drive should be 50 or 60 yards. Hindsight, front pin, I actually don't mind this. It's basically the same shot as the first hole. Wind into off the right, just under a full gap wedge. I'm just out of practice, and you're seeing my wedges go very, very high. It was fine. It was a good shot. A little past pin high, probably spun back a little bit, but if I'm really on song and I'm playing, competitive quality golf, the wedges are a lot lower. But here's an outside look at birdie, but standing on this tee, you want to have a good look at birdie, not an outside look at birdie. Fortunately, just not a good roll off the face. Never had a chance, but it's a stress-free par, and that's kind of what I want you to learn in this video, is just avoiding stress, avoiding difficult situations. It keeps you around par, whether you like it or not. Here we go, 426 yards into the wind. Bunker on the left used to be carryable, but not today. But Wiperoo, Ric Flair, not ideal, out of position. A good drive here, you should have 140-ish yards in. Here I've got 160 hanging lie. I'm not concerned about the height of this by any stretch. Winds into off the right. but it's a weird yardage trying to like knock down a 7-iron with the ball below my feet into the wind. And this is just maybe a little out of golf shape. Probably aligned poorly, thinking I was really going to pull it for whatever reason with a mid-iron. I don't. I floated out right where I was aimed. Now I'm in a situation I didn't want to be in. Because my short game isn't tested, I didn't want to give myself difficult up and downs. And this has a lot of green to work with, but it's thin Bermuda. I do catch it heavy, but I get away with it. It chases more, but it's still an outside look at birdie or par. It's not a confident, secure up and down. So I'm looking at 16 feet for par. Thankfully, it's an uphill putt into the green. I can be aggressive with it, and I like my greens. And what do you know, that never should have been a par, but it's a par. And I think that's one of the crutches of keeping it around par. You give yourself chances to avoid big numbers. There was no big number in any of those swings, and hey, we made a par. So now we turn the corner. Now we're downwind for the last 4 holes. Par 5, first one of the round. I just want to hit a good drive. It's a downwind off the left, perfect for my fade. This was a good swing, just caught it a little toey, little toe banger, kind of knuckled dead straight. But I'm in reachable zone to hit this green, unfortunately, and I have a tree in my way. If I was a little more to the left or a little longer, this was fine. But to have 254 to the back pin, I got to kind of squeeze this thing under and around the tree. I'm not playing a big slice. I don't have that shot in my bag. I think I can get lucky enough and knock this thing down a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't. But thankfully, I get a good break. It just hits the tree and kind of kicks straight down left. Effectively, it was as if I laid up with a wedge. And now I have another wedge, 120 yards, staring right at it, a little downwind. It's just under a full gap wedge. I'm not trying to be aggressive in my mind, making up for what happened on the second shot. I just know 120 yards, I can give myself a makeable birdie putt. Catch this thing a little thin. Thankfully, I get away with it. It doesn't go too short or too far, just a little under pin high. But we've got an uphill, makeable putt for birdie. Yes, after that tee shot, I want it to be chipping for eagle at worst, have a tap-in birdie. But now I've got 14 feet up the hill for birdie. And I'm being aggressive. I'm not being cautious. But unfortunately, just don't quite hit this thing hard enough or underread it a hair. One or the other, but it's a par. We're still 1 under par. We haven't had our best golf, but we haven't had our worst golf. But what you start to see here is I don't practice a whole heck of a lot, so I'm almost using this round as practice, which is that's not how you play good golf. That's not how you score. When you start thinking about your technique, it's easier to hit bad shots. And I don't know what I did here. I was just kind of thinking about execution rather than just hitting a shot to the target, and I float this thing way out to the right. And this is not where you want to be. I've got no green to work with, tight Bermuda lie, got to land it quickly and spin it. Middle of the summer or middle of practice, I'm comfortable with this. Just kind of put it up in the stance. I know what to do, but execution, not quite there because that's just practice. If I can hit this thing kind of mid-height and low, I feel good. But that one, I knew I needed to get a little bit lucky. This one here is thankfully exactly what I'm comfortable with at the state of my short game, but there is just 2 mistakes in a row, and it's very hard to obviously make pars making 2 mistakes in a row. So cozy this up there. It's a bogey. We're back to even par, but we're thinking golf swing a wee bit, and that's what you want to avoid, and that's how you start to get sloppy. You see sloppy golf and you think you can fix it. So I did kind of change it here a little bit. Thankfully, this is a wind that I like, down and off the right, so I know I can just do my thing, my little fade. Maybe it turns over, maybe it goes straight. Just want to hit this thing over the bunker, and it's good, a wee bit thin, but I'll take it. It's right where I wanted it to be. Maybe it's 10 or so yards shorter than where it could be, but we're up here. We're in the middle of the fairway. We're staring down a very likable 148 yards. A little downwind, but a little uphill, so it's just kind of under a full 9-iron. So it's one of these things that, I'm thinking swing in the routine, but here I was able to switch it off and just think executing, because it is a 3/4 shot. It's not a full shot, so it's just like you need to execute. You can't just think swing. And this was a good one. I pulled it just a hair. You can see by my path there, the divot's just a little left. Whatever I did with the club face at the bottom, we figured it out, and we got a makeable putt for birdie. So it's one of those things. Here we go. We're looking, 13 feet, a little downhill. It's the first real downhill putt of the day. But I like the speed of these greens. I really see the line well. But unfortunately here, I just didn't see the early move left. And I just got it a little too high, so it wouldn't come on back. But it's a stress-free par. It's a fairway hit. It's a green hit. It's 2 putts. We're still even par. We've made 2 good golf swings. But here I am, just thinking about my swing. Unfortunately, that's one of the difficulties of scratch golf. You have the ability to go much lower, but you have the ability to get in your own way. And that's what being a little out of practice does. Par 5, downwind off the left. I just overcooked this, but if I'm honest, I'm happy with it. Obviously, I can't control it perfectly. It's a good one. It covers that bunker, but unfortunately, it's a layup. You need to be left. I got 218 yards, but I'm not hoisting, a 4-iron that quickly. So it's an opportunity to make a good golf swing, not think swing, but just make a smooth 9-iron swing, and that was good. So now I have a wedge, and maybe I have a chance to get back to 1 under par for these 9 holes. And but it's 80 yards. It's a little tight fairway. I'm not 100% confident in it, but I know what to do. So I just turn it off, and then I get over the ball, and it's just hit the shot. It's not about executing. It's not about technique. Just hit the shot. It was a pretty good pass. Just face was a little open. So it hangs out there just a little short of pin high, but it's a 12-footer for birdie. It's a look at birdie. It's an opportunity to potentially shoot 1 under par to end this thing, maybe 14 feet. Aggressive, up the hill. Left myself a lot of good looks, and I think that's what you're seeing. You give yourself chances, but hit it, Andrew. Hit the ball, even par. Pretty stress-free, but relatively sloppy scratch golf.